Yo, 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 what's good, fam? Your boy Inko back with another fire story. And today we talking about one of the biggest names in hip hop. We talking about the Sixth God. We talking about Champagne Poppy. We talking about Drake. Now, when you hear that name, Drake, what comes to your mind? Hit songs, right? Money? Success? Memes? That hotline bling dance? But here's what most people don't know. Drake wasn't always a rapper. He wasn't born in the hood. He didn't start selling drugs or living that street life that most rappers talk about. Nah, Drake started as a child actor on a teen TV show, and the hip-hop world clowned him for it. They said he wasn't real. They said he was soft. They said he'd never make it. But you know what? Drake proved all of them wrong. He became one of the biggest artists of all time. He changed the sound of hip-hop. He dominated the charts for over a decade. So how did a kid from Canada who acted on a teen drama become the king of rap? That's what we're about to find out. Get comfortable, turn up the volume, and let me tell you the real story of Aubrey Drake Graham, how he went from Degrassi to becoming a legend. Let's get into it. Chapter 1. Growing up in Toronto. Aubrey Drake Graham was born on October 24, 1986 in Toronto, Canada. Now, Toronto, if you don't know, is Canada's biggest city. They call it the Six. That's where Drake's nickname Sixth God comes from. It's a diverse city with people from all over the world. Hip-hop culture was definitely there, but it wasn't like New York or LA where rap was born. Drake's parents were Dennis Graham and Sandy Graham. And listen to this, they were from two completely different worlds. Dennis Graham was black and from Memphis, Tennessee. He was a drummer. He actually played drums for the legendary Jerry Lee Lewis, so music was in Drake's blood from the start. Sandy Graham was white and Jewish from Canada. She was a teacher and educator, very educated, very cultured. So Drake grew up mixed, black and Jewish. This is important because it shaped how he saw the world and how the world saw him. When Drake was just 5 years old, his parents divorced. This was tough on young Drake, really tough. Dennis moved back to Memphis, and Drake stayed in Toronto with his mom, Sandy. So he grew up in a single-parent household with his mom. Now, here's the thing about Drake's childhood. It wasn't poor, but it wasn't rich either. They were middle class, not struggling on the streets, but not living in luxury either. They lived in a neighborhood called Forest Hill in Toronto. This was actually a pretty nice, mostly Jewish neighborhood, not the hood at all. Some of Drake's classmates were rich, like really wealthy families, so Drake was around wealth, but his family didn't have that kind of money. This made him feel like an outsider sometimes. Being mixed race also made things complicated. He wasn't fully accepted by the black kids because his mom was white and he lived in a Jewish neighborhood. Some of the white kids saw him as the black kid, so he kind of existed in between two worlds. Drake went to a Jewish school as a kid. He had a bar mitzvah, a Jewish coming-of-age ceremony, so he was connected to his Jewish heritage. But he also felt connected to his black heritage through his father and through hip-hop culture. Drake was a smart kid. He did well in school. He wasn't the most popular kid, but he wasn't a total outcast either. He was just regular, His mom, Sandy, struggled with health issues. She had back problems that sometimes left her bedridden. Young Drake had to take care of her sometimes. This made him mature faster than other kids. Money was tight. His mom worked hard as a teacher, but raising a kid alone in Toronto wasn't easy. Sometimes they struggled to pay bills. Drake could see the wealth around him, his rich classmates, their big houses, their expensive cars, and he wanted that for himself and his mom. He wanted to make life easier for her. He loved music from a young age. His dad's influence was strong. Drake would listen to hip-hop, Jay-Z, DMX, Lil Wayne, and dream about making music one day. But at that time, it was just a dream, just something he thought about. He had no idea how to actually make it happen. Then, something happened that would change his life forever. Chapter 2. Becoming an actor. Degrassi. When Drake was about 15 years old, one of his classmates had a father who was an acting agent. This agent was looking for young actors for a new TV show. The show was called Degrassi: The Next Generation. Degrassi was a teen drama show about high school students dealing with real issues, relationships, drugs, teen pregnancy, all that stuff. It was popular in Canada and even in the US. Drake's classmate's father asked Drake if he wanted to audition. Drake was like, sure, why not? Could be cool. He went to the audition, and guess what? He got the part. Drake was cast as Jimmy Brooks, a basketball player who becomes paralyzed after a school shooting. It was a serious, dramatic role. And listen to this. Drake wasn't just on the show for one episode or one season. He was on Degrassi for 7 years, from 2001 to 2008. This was Drake's teenage years, from age 15 to 22. While other kids were just going to school, Drake was a TV star. The show paid okay. Not crazy money, but decent. Drake was making about $50,000 a year. For a teenager, that's pretty good money. This money helped his mom a lot. Remember, they were struggling financially. Now Drake could help pay bills, help with rent, buy groceries. He could take care of his mom. This felt good to Drake. He liked being able to provide. He liked being able to help his mother who had sacrificed so much for him. Drake became recognizable in Canada. People knew him as Jimmy from Degrassi. Teen girls liked him. He had fans. But here's the thing. Drake had a secret. While he was acting on this teen TV show during the day, at night, he was in the studio trying to make rap music. That's right, Drake wanted to be a rapper, not just an actor. He started recording mixtapes. He would write lyrics, record songs, and put them online. This was the early 2000s, when mixtapes were how unsigned artists got their music out there. But nobody took him seriously. Why? Because he was Jimmy from Degrassi. Hip-hop culture at that time was all about being real, being from the streets, being tough, having street credibility. And here's Drake, a light-skinned kid from Canada who acts on a teen TV show. Other rappers and fans clowned him for it. They made fun of him. They said things like, this dude was in a wheelchair on TV and now he wants to rap. He's soft. He's not from the streets. He's an actor, not a rapper. Canadian rappers? That's not even a thing. This hurt Drake's feelings. He was passionate about music. He was working hard on his craft, but people weren't giving him a chance because of where he came from. But Drake didn't let this stop him. He kept recording, kept writing, kept improving. In 2006, he released his first mixtape called Room for Improvement. It didn't blow up, but some people listened. Some people liked it. In 2007, he released another mixtape called Comeback Season. This one did better. One of the songs, called Replacement Girl with Trey Songz, got some radio play. Things were starting to happen. Slowly but surely, people were starting to pay attention to Drake's music. But he was still on Degrassi, still acting, still being Jimmy. Drake was at a crossroads. Should he focus on acting? It was paying the bills. It was stable. Or should he chase this rap dream that might not work out? This was a big decision, a scary decision.
Chapter 3. The Big Gamble, Leaving Degrassi. By 2008, Drake was 22 years old. He had been on Degrassi for 7 years. It was steady work, steady money, a steady life. But Drake felt stuck. He felt like acting wasn't his true passion. Music was what he really wanted to do. He was still releasing music on the side. His mixtapes were getting more attention. Some people in the music industry were starting to notice him. But he couldn't do both. He couldn't be a full-time actor and a full-time rapper. He had to choose. His mom was worried. She was like, Drake, you have a good job. You're on TV. You're making money. Why would you risk that? His friends thought he was crazy. Bro, you're already successful. You're on TV. Why gamble that for rap? There's a million rappers trying to make it. Even some people in the music industry told him, stick with acting, man. The rap thing might not work out for you. You don't have the right image. But Drake felt something deep inside. He knew he had something special. He knew he could make it as a rapper if people just gave him a chance. So in 2008, Drake made one of the biggest decisions of his life. He left Degrassi. He walked away from steady money. He walked away from fame. He walked away from security to chase a dream. This was scary. What if it didn't work? What if he ended up broke? What if everyone was right and he was wrong? But Drake believed in himself. and he was about to prove everyone wrong. In February 2009, Drake released a new mixtape called So Far Gone, and this mixtape changed everything. So Far Gone was different. It wasn't like other rap mixtapes at the time. Drake was rapping, yeah, but he was also singing. He was being emotional. He was talking about his feelings, about relationships, about loneliness, about wanting success. This was not what rap was supposed to be about. Rap was supposed to be tough, hard, street. But Drake said, forget that. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna talk about what I really feel. The mixtape had songs like Best I Ever Had, a song about a girl he loved, Best I Ever Had, Successful featuring Trey Songz and Lil Wayne about wanting to make it, Say What's Real, deep, emotional, honest. And people loved it, like really loved it. Best I Ever Had started getting played on the radio. It became a hit, a real hit. Suddenly, Drake wasn't just Jimmy from Degrassi anymore. He was a real artist, a real rapper. The mixtape was downloaded over 2 million times. That's huge for a mixtape. Labels started calling, big labels, offering deals. Drake was getting attention from the biggest names in hip-hop. And then something amazing happened that changed his life forever. Chapter 4: Lil Wayne and Young Money. Lil Wayne was one of the biggest rappers in the world at that time, like top of the game. Everyone respected Wayne. Wayne heard So Far Gone, and he loved it. He called Drake and said, "Yo, I want to work with you." Drake couldn't believe it. Lil Wayne wanted to work with him? They met up. They recorded together. They connected. Wayne saw something special in Drake. He saw the talent. He saw the potential. He knew Drake was different in a good way. In 2009, Lil Wayne signed Drake to his record label, Young Money Entertainment. This was huge. This was like getting the ultimate cosign. If Lil Wayne believed in you, the whole hip-hop world had to respect you. Drake was now part of Young Money, which also had artists like Nicki Minaj. This was the hottest label in rap. Being signed to Young Money changed Drake's life. Now he had resources, he had connections, he had support from one of the biggest rappers alive. Wayne became like a mentor to Drake. He taught him about the music business, he gave him advice, he featured on his songs. In 2010, Drake released his first official studio album called Thank Me Later. And guess what? It debuted at #1 on the Billboard charts. #1, his first album. The album had hits like Find Your Love, Fancy featuring T.I. and Swizz Beatz, Miss Me featuring Lil Wayne. Drake was officially a star. No longer just that kid from Degrassi. He was a real artist, a real rapper. But some people still hated. They said, he's too soft, he sings too much. Real rappers don't talk about feelings, he's not street enough. But Drake heard all this, and you know what he did? He used it as fuel. In 2011, he released his second album called Take Care, and this album made Drake a superstar. Take Care won the Grammy for Best Rap Album. It had massive hits, headlines, the motto, which is where YOLO came from, Take Care featuring Rihanna, Crew Love featuring The Weeknd. This album showed that Drake's style wasn't a fluke, it was real. People connected with his emotional, honest approach to rap. He was creating a whole new sound, mixing rap with R&B, being vulnerable, talking about relationships and feelings alongside success and money. Other rappers started copying his style. The whole sound of hip-hop started changing because of Drake. Young artists looked at Drake and said, "Oh, I don't have to pretend to be hard. I can be myself. I can be emotional and still be a successful rapper." Drake opened doors. He changed the game. Chapter 5: Dominating the Charts. After Take Care, Drake didn't slow down. If anything, he worked harder. In 2013, he released Nothing Was the Same. This album had Started From the Bottom, his anthem about going from nothing to something. Hold On, We're Going Home, Worst Behavior. Started From the Bottom became his signature song. Everyone knew the lyrics. Started from the bottom, now we're here.
It was about his journey from struggling in Toronto to being a superstar. It was motivational. Then, in 2015, he released a surprise project. He didn't announce it, he didn't do promotion, he just dropped it. It was a mixtape called If You're Reading This, It's Too Late, and it was fire. 535,000 copies in its first week. For a surprise release, that's insane. This showed that Drake had become so big that he didn't even need to promote. People would listen to whatever he dropped. Then, in 2016, he released Views. This album dominated, like completely dominated. It had Hotline Bling, the song that became a huge meme because of Drake's dancing. One Dance featuring Wizkid and Kyla, this song was #1 in 15 countries. Controlla, Too Good featuring Rihanna. Views sold over 1 million copies in its first week. Drake was now the biggest artist in the world, not just rap, all music. But he didn't stop. In 2018, he released Scorpion. This was a double album, 25 songs, an A-side and a B-side. And it had one of the biggest songs of all time, God's Plan. God's Plan was everywhere. You couldn't escape it. The music video showed Drake giving away nearly $1 million to people in Miami. He paid for people's groceries, gave money to students, surprised people with gifts. The song was #1 for 11 weeks. 11 weeks! The album also had other huge hits. Nice for What? In My Feelings, the song that started the In My Feelings challenge on social media. Non-Stop. Drake was breaking records. He became the artist with the most Billboard Hot 100 entries ever. He had the most #1 songs on the rap charts. He was everywhere, on the radio, on streaming, on social media. Chapter 6. Beefs and Controversies. But with great success comes haters, and Drake has had his share of beef with other rappers. One of the biggest beefs was with Meek Mill. In 2015, Meek Mill accused Drake of using ghostwriters, other people writing his lyrics. This is a big accusation in hip-hop. Writing your own lyrics is considered essential to being a real rapper. Drake responded with 2 diss tracks, Charged Up and Back to Back. Back to Back was brutal. Drake destroyed Meek Mill in this song. It was so good that even Meek Mill's fans had to admit Drake won. The beef made headlines everywhere, and most people agreed Drake won. Then there was the beef with Pusha T. This one got personal. In 2018, Pusha T released a diss track called The Story of Adidon, where he revealed that Drake had a secret son. That's right, Drake had a son named Adonis with a woman named Sophie Brousseau, and he was keeping it secret. This was messy. The whole world found out about Drake's son through a diss track. Drake addressed it on his album Scorpion in songs like Emotionless and March 14. He admitted, yes, he has a son, and he talked about being a father. This situation showed that even with all his success, Drake was still human. He made mistakes. He had personal struggles. More recently, Drake had beef with The Weeknd, his former friend, Kanye West, and others. But the biggest, most talked about beef was with Kendrick Lamar in 2024. This beef had the whole hip-hop world picking sides. Both artists released multiple diss tracks going at each other. Kendrick called Drake fake, said he's not from the culture, questioned his authenticity. Drake fired back, calling Kendrick short, saying he's overrated, questioning his personal life. The beef got intense. Fans were divided. Some said Kendrick won, others said Drake won. Regardless of who won, one thing was clear. Drake was still relevant, still at the top, still commanding attention. Chapter 7. OVO, Building an Empire. But Drake isn't just a rapper, he's a businessman. He built an empire. In 2012, Drake founded his own label called OVO Sound. OVO stands for October's Very Own. Drake was born in October. OVO Sound signed artists like Party Next Door, Majid Jordan, Roy Woods, DVSN. Drake was now not just an artist, he was a label head. He was giving other artists opportunities like Lil Wayne gave him. OVO also became a lifestyle brand. They started making clothing.
OVO hoodies, hats, jackets, the owl logo became iconic. People line up for hours to buy OVO merchandise. It's become a status symbol. Drake also started the OVO Fest, an annual music festival in Toronto that brings huge artists to perform. He partnered with Jordan Brand to create OVO Jordans, limited edition sneakers that sell out in minutes. He became a global ambassador for the Toronto Raptors, the NBA team. He sits courtside at games, recruits players, represents Toronto basketball. When the Raptors won the NBA championship in 2019, Drake was right there celebrating. It was his team. Drake also invested in real estate. He built a massive mansion in Toronto called the Embassy. It has a full-size NBA basketball court, a recording studio, a swimming pool, and awards room for all his plaques and trophies. The mansion is worth over $100 million. He also invested in various businesses: Virginia Black Whiskey, his own alcohol brand, restaurants in Toronto, tech startups, real estate properties. Drake understood something important. Don't just make money from music, build businesses, create wealth. His net worth is estimated to be over $250 million. Some say it's closer to $300 million. That's not just from rap, that's from being smart with his money, from building businesses, from creating multiple income streams.
Chapter 8. Changing Hip-Hop Forever. So what's Drake's impact on hip-hop? What did he change? He made it okay to be emotional in rap. Before Drake, rappers had to be tough all the time. They couldn't show vulnerability. They couldn't talk about their feelings. Drake said, forget that. I'm going to talk about heartbreak, about insecurity, about feelings. And it worked. Now tons of rappers follow that formula. He blurred the lines between rap and R&B. Drake doesn't just rap, he sings a lot. He makes melodies. He makes music that's both rap and R&B. This created a whole new sound that dominates music today. He made Toronto a hip-hop city. Before Drake, nobody thought about Canadian rap. Toronto wasn't on the hip-hop map. Now, Toronto is known. Other Toronto artists like The Weeknd, Tory Lanez, Party Next Door all got opportunities because Drake opened that door. He changed how artists release music. Drake pioneered the surprise drop, releasing music without announcement or promotion. He showed that if you're big enough, you don't need traditional marketing. He dominated streaming. Drake became the most streamed artist in the world, on Spotify, on Apple Music, everywhere. He understood early that streaming was the future, and he dominated it. He made it cool to be a soft rapper. You don't have to be from the hood. You don't have to sell drugs. You don't have to be street. You can be regular, middle class, and still be a successful rapper. Drake proved that your background doesn't define whether you can make great hip-hop. He showed you can be versatile. Drake does emotional songs, party songs, rap songs, singing songs, dancehall, Afrobeat, everything. He's not stuck in one style. He experiments, he evolves. This inspired other artists to be more versatile too. Chapter 9. The secret to Drake's success. So what's the secret? How did a kid from Toronto who acted on Degrassi become one of the biggest artists of all time? Authenticity. Drake didn't try to be someone he wasn't. He didn't pretend to be street when he wasn't. He was himself. He talked about his real life, his feelings, his experiences, his struggles. People connected with that realness. Work ethic. Drake works constantly. He's always in the studio, always writing, always recording. He releases music frequently. Albums, mixtapes, features on other people's songs. He's everywhere. This constant output keeps him relevant, keeps him in people's minds. Strategic collaborations. Drake collaborates with everyone. Rap artists, pop artists, R&B artists, international artists. He works with up-and-coming artists and established legends. This expands his reach, brings him new fans, keeps his sound fresh. Understanding his audience. Drake knows his fans. He knows what they want. He gives them emotional songs when they want that, party songs when they want that. He reads the room. Adapting to trends.
Drake doesn't stay stuck in one sound. When Afrobeat gets popular, he makes Afrobeat songs. When trap is hot, he makes trap songs. He adapts, he evolves, he stays current. Social media mastery. Drake understands memes. He understands viral moments. He uses social media perfectly. The Hotline Bling dance, that became a meme, free promotion. The In My Feelings challenge, that was a phenomenon. Drake knows how to create moments that get people talking. Taking risks. Leaving Degrassi was a huge risk, but Drake took it. Doing emotional rap when everyone said be hard? Risk, but it paid off. Drake isn't afraid to try new things, even if they might fail. Building a team. Drake surrounds himself with talented people. Producers like 40, Noah Shabib, who's been with him since the beginning. He has a team of writers, producers, managers, business people who help him succeed. You can't do it alone. You need a team. Chapter 10. Lessons from Drake's Journey. So what can we learn from Drake's story? Lesson 1. Don't let people define you. People said Drake couldn't be a rapper because he was an actor, because he was from Canada, because he was soft. He didn't let their opinions stop him. He proved them wrong. Don't let others tell you what you can't do. Prove them wrong. Lesson 2. Bet on yourself. Drake left a stable acting career to chase a rap dream. That's scary, but he believed in himself. Sometimes you have to take a risk. You have to bet on yourself. Lesson 3. Be yourself. Drake didn't try to be like other rappers. He was himself. He talked about his experiences. Authenticity wins. People connect with real. Lesson 4. Turn negativity into fuel. When people clowned Drake, he used it as motivation. He worked harder. He proved them wrong. Use hate as fuel. Let it push you to succeed. Lesson 5. Keep evolving. Drake doesn't make the same music he made 10 years ago. He evolves. He tries new things. Don't get stuck. Keep growing. Keep changing. Lesson 6. Build multiple income streams. Drake makes money from music, but also from OVO clothing, investments, partnerships, real estate. Don't rely on one source of income. Build multiple streams. Lesson 7. Give back. Drake represents Toronto. He puts on for his city. He helps other Toronto artists. When you succeed, help others. Give back to your community. Lesson 8. Work constantly. Drake is always working, always in the studio, always creating. Success requires constant effort. You can't get lazy. Lesson 9. Collaborate. Drake works with everyone. These collaborations expand his reach. Don't try to do everything alone. Work with others. Lesson 10. Stay hungry. Even with all his success, Drake still wants more. He's still competing, still trying to be the best. Never get comfortable. Always stay hungry. Closing. The legacy continues. So where is Drake now? What's next? Well, he's still at the top, still breaking records, still dominating. He continues to release music that tops the charts. He continues to build OVO into a bigger empire. He continues to represent Toronto in Canada. He continues to influence the next generation of artists. Is he the GOAT, greatest of all time? That's debatable. People have different opinions. Some say yes, look at his numbers, his impact, his longevity. Some say no, point to his beefs, his use of writers, his perceived lack of authenticity. But one thing is undeniable. Drake is one of the biggest and most successful artists of this generation. From Jimmy from Degrassi to the Six God, from being clowned to being crowned, from Toronto to the world. Drake's journey shows us that your background doesn't define your future. Being different can be your strength. Taking risks can lead to rewards. Believing in yourself is essential. Hard work pays off. You might not become a world-famous rapper, but you can achieve your dreams. You can build your empire. You can prove the doubters wrong. The question is, are you willing to take the risk like Drake did? Are you willing to leave your Degrassi, your safe, comfortable situation to chase something bigger? Are you willing to be yourself even when people say you're doing it wrong?
Are you willing to work when everyone else is sleeping? If your answer is yes, then you're on your way. Just like young Aubrey from Toronto, you're on your way to building something great. Remember, started from the bottom, now we here, and you can be here too. All right, fam, if this story motivated you, if it inspired you, if it showed you what's possible, do me a solid. Smash that like button. Drop a comment telling me what part of Drake's story resonated with you. Subscribe to Inco English channel for more inspiring stories about people who made it against the odds. Share this with someone who's chasing a dream, someone who needs to hear that it's possible. Remember, you only live once. Make it count. Take risks, be yourself, and never give up on your dreams. This is your boy Inco signing off. Stay blessed, stay motivated, stay hungry. 6 God bless. Peace.